Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. So today this is going to be a follow-on from my last video, which was my Falmouth vlog. If you didn't get a chance to see that, I'll leave a link in the description down below. So this video is just going to be about the open day itself, what I found out, bits like that, because I would say yes, 100% you need to go to an open day. However, I feel like you need to research it first, because for me, travelling 7 hours to go somewhere that I didn't really know about was a bit daunting. I had this gut feeling that I was going to love it anyway, but it's just one of them things that you need to have a little look about for. But for me, I had so many questions and I was trying to find videos like this one that would try and help me get a better understanding of the course, as I couldn't find the information that I needed to online. So the course I'm looking at is Marine and Natural History. I found out about this course through a mate. I basically had a whole mindset change on where I wanted to go, and he said, look at Falmouth, I think it's right down your street, and here we are, me desperately wanting to get into this course this year. I do have an interview at the end of January, so I'm bound to video that, so make sure you subscribe and keep up to date with things like that. So obviously I'm not on the course yet, so I don't know that much about it. I wanted to make this video so people like me that are looking to get the right uni get an idea before having to travel. So obviously this is completely from fresh eyes on a new course. So I'll start from the beginning. We got there and we signed in. Then a man explained to me that there were stalls behind me where I could talk to students, and at about 10:30 tours would start of the campus and of subject talks. So we had a little chat with the student and I asked him about some of the things that they do, like what sort of his favourite subjects that they covered were, what he's doing at the moment, them kind of things. And he said that some of them include learning about the animals in the location and that sort of area in Falmouth and the habitats. And then he also said that they looked at survival skills, using moving image to create small documentaries on a topic of their choice. He said the writing in the first year was very minimal, and essays can vary from being minimum of 2,000 words to 16,000. Another thing I asked was if you had to dissect things. Bit of a weird question to ask, I know, but Liv told me that she knew someone that had like done the course or something, and you have to dissect things, and he didn't know what I was on about basically, so that was a little bit embarrassing. So yeah, you don't have to cut things up, yeah. So I've embarrassed myself to save a lot of people. After that, then we went in a group of about 20-25 people that were interested in photography. So that was the BA photography course, the Marine and Natural History photography course, the fashion photography, and what other one? It was the editorial and publishing, the publishing and editorial one, I think it's that one. So we got a tour of the photography facilities, we got split into two groups, and then we were shown around. First we went into the stock room. I didn't actually get a video of this, but there were a lot of cameras, and when I mean a lot, like I literally mean a lot. You can rent a camera out for 24 hours using the booking system. The student ambassador did actually say that you can book things for a week if you consistently keep going back and keep booking the same item out. You can also book things out for like 6 weeks, so if you're going somewhere and you want to take a camera with you, you could go do that. They had a variety of camera brands and lenses going from 8mm to standard 55, and also up to like a huge 800mm. I was asked if I wanted to touch it and hold it, and I was a bit like, I don't want to break this, but like this thing was huge. It was like this big. I'd never ever seen anything like it. I mean, I've seen a big lens, but like this was like a blimmin' telescope, I honestly swear to God. So the storeroom is open 7 days a week, 9 till 6, so that's something that's very useful, so you can just go in whenever you want, even on a weekend. So I thought that was quite handy. The studios they had, there was I think 5 studios, and I didn't get any videos of these either, but it had like a huge curved white sort of backdrop kind of thing, It looks a bit like one of the ones that you use for like your product photography, but like just a huge one in like one of the rooms. I don't know why I keep doing this. The lights were also on the ceiling, so the wires were up off the floor, so you could just move them about, and they were like on like a bit of a, I don't know what you call it, like you could slide them about, a bit like a zip wire kind of thing that's made out of metal. I'm sure there's like a fancy word for that, but I didn't pick up on it. I asked if only the photography students get to use it, because obviously with the marine course you're mainly outside, and I'm not too sure about the other courses. Obviously fashion and photography would entail using it quite a lot as well. And she said to me that as long as they're available, you can use them for whatever you want. So if I want to get Hannah down for a weekend and take some photos for her, like, I can do that. I can rent it out, I can use it for my own personal use. When we went to the microscope room, she couldn't tell us much about it as she was on the actual photography course, but she said that you can attach the body of a camera to the microscope. It's quite a cool gadget, so you can take some serious macro photography. When we went into the dark room, they weren't in use. This was one of the things that I wanted to know about with the Marine and Natural History course, because I wasn't too sure if you actually get to use film, because I know that's very much like a photography, just a photography thing. Personally, really like using a film camera. I think the photos are just 10 times better, and I just like the whole idea of having to take one photo and you don't know what it's going to look like till you get it processed. But I was told that you do get opportunities to use everything, you get trained on everything. You tend to do that in your first year quite early on, because you tend to see a vast majority of the photography students using the facilities. So you mainly do film developing in the first year. Second and third year, it is then your choice whether you want to keep doing the practice or not. You can also do a workshop on using colour film. The photography students usually will get to get that workshop anyway, but if you just wanted to learn it, you can hop on it and learn everything. I asked about printing. They said certain things are covered by the university. They try to provide as much for you as they can, just sometimes it's not always possible to do that, which is understandable. So things like film are free. You can use as much as that as you want. After looking at that, we then went upstairs to look at the computer room, which is where the lecturers were waiting for us to talk to them. The software on the computers is a Mac, sort of like Apple, but they do also have Microsoft on some of them if you prefer using that. It's just personal preference on how you work. Personally, I prefer using a Mac for when I'm editing. However, if I'm doing writing, using Word and PowerPoint, I prefer to be using Microsoft. So instead of the people running the course just having a PowerPoint and flicking through it and reading what was on there, you actually got a chance to talk to them and ask them questions rather than talking at you. So me and Dad sat down, prepared a few questions, and then we just asked away. We were stood there talking to the guy running the course for about 10-15 minutes. So the first thing I asked was the class sizes and how many people were on the course. He said there is 100 spaces on the course and it's usually 12 people to a group, and that's for practical. So the groups are sorted out alphabetically. If you have a problem with your group, he said you can change. If you've made friends with someone that's in a different class to you, you can move if you're really struggling to work with the people that you've been put in a group with. So it's quite flexible, which I thought was really good, because obviously you've got to remember you're going to be spending the next 3 years of your life on this course, and you don't want to be working with people that you know you're not going to get along with. He also said on average, place wise, it's usually 2 people applying for one place. 100 places on the course, that means about 200 people will apply, so there's a 50-50 chance of you getting on it, so make sure you definitely stand out. Next thing I wanted to ask was about the cost of the field trips, as this is obviously very important because it is a very outdoorsy photography course. He said the scuba diving training costs about £350, and this isn't through the university, this is through another company. This is optional, you don't have to do the scuba diving if you don't want to. I personally think it would be a really good opportunity. I think when you're going to university you need to just sort of grab everything and just give everything a go, because you don't know till you try it. He did sort of advise me to do a course before I went to university, because that means that I don't have to then do it while I'm there, while I'm doing my studies and trying to focus on my photography work rather than learning how to scuba dive. I believe that he said the £350 should cover the whole year of trips and field trips that you get to go on. I think that's what he said. I'm going to clarify that when I go to my interview. I'm going to take a notebook with me and write everything they say down, so I have it like word for word, instead of having a little notebook and remembering the answers to the questions that I had written down. So first year you get to go out to Dartmoor, you stay overnight, you do your first aid training and survival skills, and then you get to go and take some photos as well. You also just go on little trips around Cornwall, so that sounds pretty good. So you get to sort of know the area very well, know where to get you good pictures. Second year you get to go to the Red Sea or the Galapagos Islands. He said people don't tend to go on this trip as much because they try and save their money for the third year. He didn't actually tell me what trips were on the third year, so I'm going to ask that question again. I asked about studying abroad as well, and he said from the second year, typically January to about May time, you get the opportunity to study for 3 months abroad. They have connections with places in Europe, and recently they've got places in Canada and Australia, which made my ears perk up just a little bit. He said that there aren't many places going abroad to study, so they are quite competitive. However, he said on average only about 5% of students actually go. The only thing I didn't ask the lecturer was about all the modules, so that's something I'll say for my interview. Lecture-wise, he said usually they have 2 days that you'll have lectures on, and the rest of it is ideally practical. Another thing I asked was about professional practicing photographers, and he said that they have them come in ideally every other week. Usually they are former graduates of the course who have been in industry for a few years, just got to grips with what they're doing, and then they come back, talk about what they're doing, how they got there, and just sort of give some tips. So that is something really key when looking for a course. You need to know that they're gonna sort of get people in who are actually, you know, successful in what you're doing. So that's basically what I was taught when I went to the open day. If you are interested in going, I would 100% say go. If anyone has any questions that weren't answered in this video, please comment them down below. I will ask them in my interview. I hope this video helped anyone that was interested in the Marine and Natural History Photography course at Falmouth. Make sure you subscribe for more videos like this, because there is more to come. My next video I'm going to be uploading is going to be about the actual campus itself, their facilities, sort of the accommodation as well. So I'll just sort of touch up on that a little bit, what I've thought about it. Yeah, so make sure you subscribe, like this video, and have a good week.